we put service over self. It's really important, right? That we're serving people. We put quality over quantity. I believe that making sales social means we put solutions over sales. If we're not solving problems, we're not going to make any sales. And I believe in putting value over volume. So if we put those four things together, for me, that's making sales social. And obviously conversation wraps around all of that and connection. Because if we don't have that, well, heck, there's no sense being social.
Welcome to the Making Sales Social podcast, featuring the top voices in sales and marketing. Join hosts Bryn Tillman and Bill McCormick as they discuss the best tips and strategies they are teaching their clients so you can leverage them for your own virtual and social selling. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Here are your hosts, Bryn Tillman and Bill McCormick.
Welcome back to Making Sales Social. I'm Bill McCormick.
I'm Bryn Tillman.
And Bryn, who's joining us today?
Oh my gosh, so excited. This is my friend, like in real life friend, like when we see each other, when he flies into Philadelphia, we meet for dinner and I hug him and I love him. And we partnered on projects together. And I am so excited to bring Phil Gerbyshak to the stage. Hello, my friend.
Ooh, yay. Hey, Bryn. Woo. It's so great to see you again. Hey, Bill.
That was a hi for you listeners.
Yeah, we're waving and sending virtual hugs. So Phil, tell everyone just a little bit about you and what you've been up to lately.
Sure. So, well, I'm a sales guy, right? I love sales, everything about sales. I love to make sales social. That's why Bryn and I got to know each other, why we're friends, right? So, so I do sales for B2 Linked. I'm the VP of partnerships and sales for them, working with the bigger accounts, the bigger enterprise type clients. We sell, we're the best and biggest LinkedIn ads agency in the country. And when I'm not doing that, I do get to fly around and speak. My book, Social Selling Essentials, comes out on my birthday. So super excited about that too.
Go look up Social Selling Essentials on Amazon or the .com. Excellent. Wonderful.
Fantastic. Well, I can't wait to get into talking a little bit more about LinkedIn ads. It's something that we haven't discussed on our podcast yet. But before we get to that, Phil, we ask every guest the same first question. What does making sales social mean to you? Easy for me to say.
Yeah, right. Easy to say, hard to think about. No, for me, so it's kind of four things, right? So first, we put service over self. It's really important, right? That we're serving people. We put quality over quantity. I believe that making sales social means we put solutions over sales. If we're not solving problems, we're not going to make any sales. And I believe in putting value over volume. So if we put those four things together, for me, that's making sales social. And obviously conversation wraps around all of that and connection. Because if we don't have that, well, heck, there's no sense being social.
That's one of the most well thought out answers I think we've had to that question yet. So I love that. Love that.
Yeah, I'm excited. Let's jump deep into where ads may not necessarily feel social. LinkedIn has lots of different ads. There are lots of some I can't even keep up with. Every once in a while, I'll get something in my inbox that's sponsored. I'm like, I haven't seen that before, right? So talk to us a little bit about LinkedIn ads, the different kinds of ads, and even who they're for.
Sure. Well, let's talk. About let's call it paid media at first, right? Because that could be an in-mail for sure, right? So if you're in sales and you have Sales Navigator, that is a LinkedIn ad, right? It's somebody that you don't know that you can get in their inbox. And certainly, you have that, and then you move that to a conversational ad, which is someone not only do you not know, but you didn't target them based on their name. You didn't say, hey, Bill, you have an avatar, and you put in the ad categories, demographics, insights that you want to go after, and you send those to different people with the goal of trying to start a conversation. You could also do that with, sponsored in-mail, which is straight up kind of advertising in your inbox. And the interesting thing of that is that will show up on LinkedIn the next time you log in. So it's not like the advertiser just sent it. But it feels like it because boop, now I have an in-mail and it's at the top of my inbox and it's unread. Almost impossible to ignore. So that's an ad format. Of course, we've got tons of display ads, right? Could be at the top, could be in the sidebar, but the best performing ad is the sponsored post. It's in your feed, and it is targeted, and it is valuable. And, making sales social means solutions over sales. So we're having a solution to our target customer's problem. And we're putting that in a sponsored post. And if you do it right, you're like, oh, that is a problem that I have. Therefore, I should click on this. And then after it gets clicked on, you fill out a form, and hopefully some salesperson calls you and says, hey, why are you interested in that? What's that? Right. I do some research on that, and I see why you might be interested in that, and try to have a conversation. So ads absolutely lead to social sales.
I want to go one step deeper into the sponsored ad, because I find that to be interesting, mostly because you see them every single day.
Yeah.
And the sponsored ad, I'm getting hit by companies. I'm surprised. Like, if they were doing a really good job of vetting, I'm probably not a big enough company for them, but they're showing up anyway. One of them is Corporate Visions, that I see probably 3 or 4 times a week. And I love their stuff. So maybe that's why they keep sending it. But how direct, how specific can you get to a persona when you're doing some of these sponsored ads?
Yeah, super specific. You can get as specific as you want, right? Most of the time, though, I will tell you, like, I just for fun here, I went to my LinkedIn and I looked to see, because of course, sponsored content is everywhere, right? So probably every 3 to 5 posts from a company, for sure. So you can target as much as you want, much like you can Sales Navigator. In fact, you can target even more, because I can target groups that you're in. I can target skills that you have. I can create custom audiences and lookalike audiences to do that. So advertising, I would tell you, when done correctly, now that's the key here, when done correctly, can be super pinpoint sharp and create, you can run different ad formats and different A/B tests right at the same person. But if that's not what you do, if you're saying, okay, so for instance, I've got an ad right now that says they want to reach members with similar company size as the current employer listed on my profile, and they want to reach members based on my profile location of the United States. That's not very specific. There's nothing there, right? That's silly, right? I would tell you that's an awareness post that they're probably paying some, CPM, right? Cost per milli, which is ridiculous.
What is cost per milli? I've heard of.
No, it's per impression, right? As opposed to cost per action, which is only pay if you get a click, right? That's what I would typically pay eventually, right? Not at first, right? I might do that CPM first, but here's the thing. I want the right people, to your point, right? I want only people that I want in my sales funnel. That's who I should be targeting. But the problem is, most people run ads completely wrong. They're lazy, and they run something like that, and they spend way too much money on, people in the United States. Well, I'll tell you what, flood insurance in New Orleans is not the same as flood insurance in Maine. So we got to think about that, right? I mean, now if we work with nationwide, right, and we only work with the company size, that's cool. Then target that, right? But if we're not niched in who we talk to, LinkedIn ads you could burn hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we've seen it. We have companies that come to us, that I get to talk to, that they're like, yeah, well, our cost per lead, ready for this, $60,000 or $70,000, because they sell $1 million or $500,000 product, right? And so that's not terrible. If they get 10 leads and they have a good sales team and 50% sit for an appointment, and then 10% of those close, okay, you're probably pretty close here to breaking even, but you can do so much better than that. And so that's where, long answer to your short question of how focused can you get? Well, you can focus almost like a salesperson, because you can't read the profile before you place the ad, but I can read the stuff that's there, meaning I can't read your activity, but I can read all your other stuff. Like, think about your profile, everything that you put on your profile, plus everything on your company page. That's how targeted you can be.
Wow, that's great.
You mentioned cost. And so that's always something that's top of my mind, because I wasn't sure if it's anecdotal that, while Facebook is cents or dollars per click, LinkedIn is like $9 to $10 per click. So how true is that? Is LinkedIn more expensive? And if so, what's that benefit that you get from that greater expense?
Absolutely way more expensive, right? So in some cases, from a Facebook ad could be honestly 5 or 10x, maybe even 20x than Facebook. And a Google ad, depending on how you run it, could also be very expensive, like a LinkedIn. But here's the benefit, right? So first, on Facebook, I can advertise almost nothing against your work. It's all about your activity. So if you go to Facebook, so Bryn, you're not super active on Facebook, so it probably doesn't know anything that you do. Really, like truly, like for work, right? Like you don't even post, you barely post, you probably won't post this interview there. You probably, very little stuff, true. Right? So it doesn't really know you, but you're getting ads. So Bryn's getting fed the same ads probably that another person of her age in the United States that's
Cole Haan shoes. That's what I get.
Yeah, there we go, right? So, and that's fine, but that's $100 or less product usually. And that's cool, right? So for $10, I'll get $100, okay? So now let's crank that up. For $100, I get $10,000. For $1,000, I get $100,000, right? So here we go. So let's do some simple math. Let's pretend that you're going to invest $50,000 a month in LinkedIn ads. And just for round numbers, $50,000. Let's say it's $50 per click. So now we get 1,000 clicks. Of those 1,000 clicks, 10% of them are qualified leads. Like they're good, right? They fill out your form and they're good. That takes us down from 1,000 down to 100. Of those 100, maybe 27, 25, maybe less, right? Have a time, like right now, like they're hot. I'm going to make a decision, right? They're at urgency, right? Woohoo, that's great. And let's say then 5% of them sit for the meeting and one of them closes. Now, if I'm selling $100 shoes, that's a big waste of money, right? But if I'm selling a $100,000 product, $1 million deal, and I can net one of those or two of those a month, that's great. Plus, I've still got a full pipeline full of people who maybe the timing isn't this month, but it's next month. It might not be this quarter, but it might be next quarter. It might not be next quarter, but it might be this year. So now, and I do that every month. And the key is you have to test and test and test and retest and test because we get ad blind. So you pivot and change, but eventually you've got a pipeline full of qualified leads. And if you got a great sales team who knows how to sell with social, now we've got an opportunity here to really do some good work. So that's the benefit. And let's say, because we targeted, I didn't just say women in the United States, I said sales VPs of companies of 10,000 or more that had activity on their company page, and so many with senior leadership changes of this, with all these things. And now I'm honed in. Now the key though is you have to have an audience size big enough that it's not one person, but an audience size small enough that you can actually target that offer
and talk to them.
And talk, right? And try to earn a conversation. Try to get them to, oh my gosh, that solved my problem. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Thank you, Bill. That piece of content was awesome, but I've got bigger problems too, and maybe you can help me with those.
So I love that. Talk about the quality of content that goes into that. And is that something that you guys work on, or you push back to their marketing and say, this is what we need from you in order for this ad to work?
Yeah, so two pieces there, right? So first, let's talk about the quality of the ad, and then we'll talk about the quality of the content. So quality of the ad means great headline, means great graphic that is not in LinkedIn's colors. So for instance, your colors for your brand are blue and white. Well, so are LinkedIn's, which means that if you ran and you just said, the heck with that, Phil, I'm running my brand colors. Well, you'd look like a LinkedIn post and nobody would pay attention to it. They would just ignore it. So you got to find the third color, right? So that hence fill with orange, right?
I love it.
So, right. So that, and then you got to have a call to action, right? So that's the ad itself, the copy. Then we get to the landing page, right? Landing page got to fulfill the promise of what you had. And it's got to have a single purpose. I call this buy or die. You either got to fill out the form, put in your information, or not. Like no other choices. You can't go click around on my social. You're not going to read a related blog post. You're not going to hit the no, buy or die. it is a landing page dedicated to this. And then from there, right, then the quality of the content. The quality of content is determined on the company, because I can't write your white paper. I can't tell you,
Right.
I can't produce a video for you.
But what works? Is it
right? So what works? So still simple stuff, right? Infographics work. White papers work. Long ones, no, but solve a problem. That works still, right? Because people are still, truly, people still want to solve problems. When we're social people, right, we're looking for answers to our problems. We're not just like, there's nothing going on here, right? Like, so if you're not, and solve an urgent problem, right? So the more we can, right? If this is hot because this is right now, then that's great. If it's going to make you money, right? So we've got one client that you probably have seen 100 times in your feed, that, gets you, they talk about you, they can get you $50,000 back from the government, or you get money from them, right? And so that it's worth it to them, because, right, they get a good chunk of that if you get that stuff back, right? So if you think about that, an offer that, or content that's great, that solves a problem, that then is there, that's conversational, that if I call you, you can be like, oh yeah, well, I did have some questions about that, or no, I could go deeper about that. So content that gets a form fill, right? So I would call that a soft conversion. Doesn't always get you a hard conversion of a sale, but it absolutely makes conversation happen. And that's
they move from lurker to engager.
Yeah. Well, and even from engager to actually letting us call them, right? That's the whole desire here, really. I want more conversations in sales. Right. I want at bats, right? I want to swing the bat. If I'm hitting 0, it's because I haven't swung. It's not because I suck. Now, if you suck at sales, you got a whole nother problem, right? But most of us, right, if you're listening to this show, you're probably not someone who sucks at sales. You're someone who's looking for an edge. So ask questions, right? Invite the conversation. So sales and marketing, though, got to line up here. Here we go, right? So that's the big miss with most ads, right? Marketing goes off and runs an ad, and then sales didn't know they ran the ad. So they don't even like, hey, I downloaded this awesome white paper, Phil. And Phil's like, what white paper? Can you send me a copy of that? Right. Well, why are you calling me? Like, what, I know maybe you got the notice that said Phil, Bryn downloaded a white paper, but did you read it? Did you do anything with it? Right? Are you aware? Do you know the top 10, opportunities because of that white paper? What are you doing? So that's what works, right? And it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to give away, 180-page ebook, because nobody's going to read it.
Right. Nobody's going to read it.
But find time to solve a problem that is pressing, that is important, that if they do, right, you could probably shorten that sales cycle up.
So really great stuff. And so one last question that I have is, so if I'm a sales professional, maybe I'm a marketing professional listening to this, and I'm saying, okay, maybe we need to pull the trigger on LinkedIn ads. What's the cutoff? So if I sell a product that is only $5,000 per sale, is it worth it? Is there a cutoff amount per deal that says, yes, it's worth it to do LinkedIn ads, or no, you really need to explore other avenues?
Yeah, awesome question, Bill. So I would say, if your sales cycle is short enough and you have enough volume, that if I gave you 100 leads for $5,000, that you could do something with it, that you can convert 1 or 2 of those every month, that's probably worth it. So the price point of that, probably $5,000 to $15,000, right? But I'll tell you again, higher price point means you have a better shot at getting that ROI, because frankly, you can't control timing, right? Like salespeople, we can't, right? We're not magicians. So if we acknowledge that, I would say $5,000 to $15,000 for an offer is about right. If you go higher and it's a stronger offer, and you have a real urgency and a real need that you can fill. Like, we have one client who does, she gets you #1 on the podcasts. That's her thing. Well, a lot of people, wouldn't that be nice, right? If we could do that. Now, it's going to cost you more than $5,000, but if that's what you want, then you're going to pay, and you're willing to pay that. You're going to talk with her. You're going to see, oh yeah, That's incredible, right? I could do that. So I would say, look at your offer and say, like, be honest with yourself. Maybe you could increase the value of that offer, right? Maybe it's product plus services, or maybe it's a lifetime value, right? Maybe the first contract is only $5,000, but then, you guys do a knockout job and it's $15,000 for the next one. The next one's 50. That would make sense too.
I love this. And I think, LinkedIn ads is a little bit of a mystery to a lot of people. So I appreciate you kind of pulling back the curtain and letting us see a little bit what's behind there. My last question, and then I think we're wrapping up for time before we ask about you and how people can get in touch with you. Do you believe that LinkedIn ads will continue to roll out other kinds of, or do you see them other kinds of like video ads or additional kind of creative, innovative ways to engage the buyer?
Yeah, for sure. Right. I mean, there are video ads for sure.
Well,
right. They're out there, right? And there are carousel ads. They just don't convert as well. Right. So I like creativity as much as you do, but we're a data company. I'm going to be totally transparent here. We're not an ads company. We're a data company. We make decisions based on data. I will tell you, I'm a sales guy. I can sell an emotion, but we're going to deliver on data. And that's the big difference, right? So I can tell you that, there's tons of other ad formats that you can waste your money on, but I'm going to tell you that a sponsored post, as unsexy as it sounds, is still the most effective way. And I would tell you, hey, if you want to get started with that, right? So listen to the B2 Link, listen to the LinkedIn ads show. AJ Wilcox is the founder. And I'm going to tell you right now, he gives away all of our secrets. Like, he's not going to come back and say, Phil, why did you tell Bryn and Bill about this? No, we give away all our secrets, because here's the thing, we scale, right? The difference is we're going to scale your ads. Yeah. If you're spending $1,000 a month, just go do it. That's cool, right? Like go listen to the LinkedIn ads show. That's great. You're spending $10,000 a month. Start thinking about calling us. You're spending $100,000 a month. You want an expert that's not going to waste your money, right? So to your point about, are there other sexier ad formats? Sure. I expect sponsored polls are coming next from companies, right? It's got to come, because there's so much simple engagement on a poll that for a company not to get that and bang, have their sales team drive through that. Come on, right? Like, that's obvious.
I would love that. Yeah.
No, of course, right? Wouldn't we all love that? So that makes sense. I mean, we teach it organically. So we teach how to use LinkedIn polls to increase your opportunities. So think about that from a marketing perspective. And here's the key. Again, let your sales team know when you're running a LinkedIn ad, what are you advertising? Like, let them know, because I'm serious. If your salespeople don't know, all the luck in the world.
It's a disconnect.
It's not going to happen. But if you let them know, they can close business.
Great. Well, this has been so good. And I think we probably just scratched the surface on LinkedIn ads. I know we had AJ Wilcox in a masterclass for our community that still people ask questions about. So such great stuff, Phil. So thanks for being with us. Tell everyone how they can connect with you and find out more about you and what you're doing.
Sure. So if you want my book, you go to socialsellingessentials.com and you get the book, right? That's super simple. And if you want to talk about LinkedIn ads more, just email me, phil@b2linked.com. That's the letter B, the number 2, linked.com. Happy to talk to you about that. Any of that stuff, answer questions, jump on the phone, get a Zoom call, whatever that works. And if you still like old-fashioned telephone, you call me, 414-640-7445. My number's on my LinkedIn profile. Call me. Talk to me. Let's go.
So
Thank you, my friend.
We will put all those links in the show notes. So once again, Phil, thanks so much for being with us. And to our listeners and watchers, thanks so much for being with us on another week. And don't forget this week, as you're out and about, to make your sales social. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, and join us again for more special guest instructors bringing you marketing, sales training, and social selling strategies that will set you apart. Hit the subscribe button below to get the latest episodes from the Making Sales Social podcast. Give this video a thumbs up and comment down below on what you want to hear from us next. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and Google Play. Visit our website, socialsaleslink.com, for more information.